Joining us now is the new head coach at Rollins, going to be a soon Rollins Athletics Hall of Famer, one of the greats of all time to wear those colors. And look at those colors; it looks good. Speaking of Christine Roser joining us here, how you doing?
I am great. How are you?
Doing good. Let's talk about what's it been like for you to be back on campus, being back on that field now as the head coach. You played there for so long. I'm sure you came back for alumni events, and now you're back though as the head coach. What's that been like?
It has been surreal. It really, I feel like the first couple of weeks, I was like, is somebody going to wake me up and be like, hey, sorry, this was all a dream. You can go back to your real life now. I mean, it has been a dream come true. It really is. When I got into coaching, this was the dream job for me. This was kind of the end game. And I am just so happy to be back. And there's so many people that are at Rollins currently that, in the administrative department, the professors, the whoever it might be, that were there when I played. So it really is kind of like a family reunion at Rollins. And obviously I've got family in the Central Florida area. So my mom was definitely thrilled that I moved back as well. um, but no, it's been amazing, and I'm lucky. I'm truly lucky to have gotten the opportunity and to work for such an incredible athletic director. Penny Parker is one of the best, and my support staff is great. It's surreal. I know in the fall when we had a game and I was sitting there coaching third base, I was like just ear to ear, grin on my face because I was like, this is the coolest moment.
I would imagine. What was that like that first time you stepped back on that field? What memories brought back to you, came back to your head there? Because there had to be a lot of memories there that popped in your head as soon as you walked in there.
I mean, a ton, right? Our teams were phenomenal for 4 years when I was there, and we had a lot of fun on that softball field. Winning's always fun. Then I was talking with the girls the other day, and the first flashback I had was actually one of my favorites at Rollins. We were playing Tampa, of course, and phenomenal competition. It was always close ball games with them, and an excellent competitive game between the two of us. And we were tied. It was the last inning. We had a freshman, Veronica, up to bat, and she hits a walk off. And it's actually like my screensaver on my phone. I mean, the picture of all of us at home plate just so ecstatic and going crazy. It's one of my favorite memories. And we've had a ton of excellent memories on that field that every day I step on and I'm just like, I am so lucky to be here. And now coaching these amazing athletes is even cooler.
I'm curious as obviously you're adjusting to the players you've inherited, they're adjusting to you. The fact that you're alum, were you able to follow the program from afar while you were coaching? And if so, is that helped you maybe in this transition?
Yeah, of course. As an alum, I've been so proud of the program and all the success it's had, even since we graduated, and I've kept up with their continued success. So I was familiar a bit with who was on the team and how they had done in years past, and it's definitely helped. I think being a player and coaching at that same school, it is helpful, and it's funny. The girls were joking with me the other day about it, and they're like, I think it's going to be harder for you because we get to play and we know how much you love playing and you can't do it anymore. So coaching us is probably like, dang, I wish I was out there. But no, I mean, it's been awesome to see the success continue even after I graduated. And obviously we are going to continue that dynasty.
What's the most common question your players ask you about your playing days? What's the most common? I mean, sounds like they're aware of what you've accomplished there, which is good. What is the most common question you've gotten from them?
I don't know that they give me too many questions. It's more so they like to give me a hard time because they love to brag on me and my career, and throw out the wall of fame that's at Rollins and throw out the all-American stuff. So they love to kind of tease me about that stuff. But they're a phenomenal group. They are extremely talented and they have bought in. They work extremely hard. So it's easy to coach those types of kids that want to be out there every day and that truly have a passion about getting better.
You mentioned some of the arm players. Let's talk about some of them. Ashley Worrell, 10 wins, 1.04, two-way player. What have you learned about her, being around her? And obviously she'll be a big part of your team, helping last year, of course, they won the conference title, and obviously she's made a name for herself.
Absolutely. And it's funny, Ashley's a local girl. I used to give her lessons back in the day when I worked at Pro Swing. So I was familiar with her, and knew how strong she was, how talented she was just back in high school. And to see her success at Rollins from afar, I was extremely happy for her. But now being able to coach her, I mean, she is dynamic. I mean, she's probably one of the strongest kids we have on our team. When we're throwing BP and doing batting practice, she is clearing our outfield fence on almost every pitch. I mean, she has so much power. It is extremely impressive to watch. So, and same thing from a pitching perspective. I mean, she has worked extremely hard this fall and this spring to really, perfect and master her pitches. And she throws excellent speed, and she's going to work. She's that type of player that wants the ball in her hand, 3-2 bases loaded, championship on the line, and she will deliver. She is that type of player. So we're definitely lucky to have her kind of leading our staff this year.
Talk about some of the other arms you might have as well as hitters. Obviously, Division Two, not as big of a roster as say a Division One, so you don't have the depth. There's more workhorses in Division Two. Still the old school way in D2. You've obviously been all over the place. You kind of you feel the same sentiments. How do you kind of balance out that roster? You don't have the quote unquote depth, but you may have versatility elsewhere. Talk about that roster overall.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. It reminded me of when I played, we had two ace pitchers and that was it,
Yeah.
and it's unheard of. I mean, everywhere else I've been, we've kind of pitched by committee. And when I got here and was like, okay, we've got two. All right, we're going deep. We're working with it. But when you've got two that are as strong as ours, it's easy. We've got another freshman pitcher, Emily McMullen, and she has been like a sleeper. She has gotten so much better and has improved dramatically from the fall when she came in. And she came in strong. That's what I mean by a sleeper is I think she had the talent and got away with stuff, but like to see her improvement, I mean, she is extremely exciting to watch. So I'm excited about her. And that's what we're going to roll with, those two on the mound. And I'm lucky, we're 1 to 14. We've got one injury right now. So 1 to 13, we are just as strong 1 to 13. So the drop off in talent isn't there, and we can rely heavily on all 13 girls to produce, and I can put them on the field at any given moment and know and have the confidence in them, and their teammates have the confidence in them that they're going to get the job done. So even though, we don't have a big roster, we are extremely talented 1 through 13.
Well, among the offensive players, Chelsea Peace last year was a first team All Sunshine State Conference performer, 357 average, 10 homers, 25 RBIs. What have you seen from her and maybe some other players, either returners or newbies, that has impressed you from an offensive standpoint?
Well, I have to brag big time on our hitters. So I've got an assistant coach this year, Coach Tommy Frederick, that has come in and he has a magic wand, I swear. He has completely transformed these hitters. When I took over, we're all very well aware that the team batting average last year was not what it needed to be, and they still found success. So this year, I can guarantee that batting average will be a lot higher. The home run numbers will be up, the doubles, the extra bases, the RBIs. He has done a phenomenal job. I have not seen this drastic of an improvement in an entire team probably ever. Even when I coach, hitting's my baby, and I gave it to him and let him do it, and I have been so impressed. So Chelsea, exactly. Chelsea again is one of probably the strongest kids we've got on this team. She can miss hit a pitch and it go 300 feet, so she's done an excellent job of just perfecting her swing and grinding it out. But I'm telling you, 1 through 13, we've got power. Literally, we've got a slapper, Lexi Moore, outfielder that, wasn't really swinging at all. We kind of have implemented that into her arsenal, and she's out there hitting home runs, swinging away. all of our girls. I mean, Ashley Troutman, our shortstop, is hitting lasers and lights out on defense. She is amazing. We've got girls that probably didn't get too many reps last year that are going to be in our starting lineup because of the work they have put in, and they have absolutely done a great job. I know this team defensively is probably the best team I've ever seen, coaching wise. Our outfield is, we've got four, and they are stacked. They are equally as phenomenal when it comes to running down a ball. It's impressive. So we've got Lexi out there, who I mentioned, Taylor Waters, Jaden Walker, Grace Germer. They are so talented. It is so fun to see. And then infield wise, I mean, we've got an amazing middle infield combo with Ashley Troutman. I call her Trouty. Sorry, that's her little nickname. And Raven Bryant at second base. They are lights out. I mean, they're making plays that are ESPN type on a daily. I am just amazed by them. And then our corners, we've got Tristan Peace, who will sit there and probably split some time with Chelsea, her older sister, behind the plate, and she'll fill in on the corners. We've got Tyler Colby, who will also play corner for us, and Sarah Young and Reagan Rayleigh. So, we've got a lot of super talented girls that are going to play and are going to impact the program. I'm really just so excited to get going because I can't wait to see what they can do.
I could tell that in your voice. You're ready to go. I'm curious because you had to come in late and and take over. How much did you look back at last year and what they accomplished, especially considering they had to play in a conference only schedule in the league, which was unique, part of a unique year where we all went through to some extent, but they only played conference only games. How much did you base your opinions on these players based on numbers and maybe video from last year? And how much did you literally just say, hey, we're starting from scratch, but at the same time, you're starting late? So I'm fascinated. How were you able to kind of get to know these players as quickly as you had to?
Yeah, no, I went in with a blank slate because those numbers to me don't really mean much. I think, sure, it's a good baseline, a good general idea of maybe what we can expect and where to work from. But they don't really mean anything to me. Like a perfect example is like Jaden. She didn't play much last year, and she's going to be a dominant hitter for us this year and is extremely talented in the outfield. So I just think the stats didn't mean too much to me. I just, I'm big into kind of that player first mentality. And we spent a lot of time in the fall doing team building stuff and getting to know each other. Cause again, I came in so late. We had, I think, maybe 4 weeks left when I came in. So there wasn't a lot of time to implement a lot that I like to normally do. But this team is so unique, and their experiences were unique, and what they came from and what they've gone through. So I definitely just wanted to spend the time getting to know them, getting us all on the same page, getting us geared towards that common goal. And I mean, again, shout out to them because they did such a phenomenal job. Our seniors stepped up tremendously during the time where they kind of didn't have a coach, from the time the old coaches retired till I got here. It was about a 2-month span. So they stepped up. Our assistant baseball coach, Patrick, stepped up as an interim for a little bit, and the girls loved him. He was awesome. So it's really been kind of an all hands on deck type thing, but it's been awesome. These girls, I look forward to going to practice every day just to see them, and just to work hard and see what they're going to do today.
How were you able to earn their trust? As you know, as a former player, that's part of it, right? And how much the fact that you've worn that uniform, you've been in those shoes on campus, literally, maybe helped you in gaining their trust and maybe help sped up the process here as you adapting to them and them adapting to you.
Yeah, I think, again, if you don't have trust in any relationship, you don't have anything, right? So trust is a huge piece for me as well. And I think that's something that we talked about early on. And You just build it every day. If I say something, I'm going to do it. If I'm going to have their backs. They know that I'm going to fight for them and they're going to fight for me and we're going to fight for each other. So just again, in those team building moments, in those connections, in the conversations we have daily, in the drills and the practice, the trust piece was a big one for this team because I think they've struggled with that in the past, but they have bought in 100% this spring. It has been awesome to see that transition, especially like you mentioned, going from being in kind of late in the fall. We didn't get a lot of time to work on that stuff. So when they came back, it's been 3 weeks of just continual growth and, not only in their physical play, but just in the relationship piece with each other.
Do you feel like once you get going on the season, you'll still be learning some things about them as far as game action? Because that's something, you can only do so much at practice, right? You're going to learn some things. What are some of the things you're looking forward to learning about your group once you get to live action? Because there's nothing that you could duplicate that.
It's so true. Yeah. I mean, just that softball IQ, just I can see it to a certain extent when we're practicing, when we're running through stuff, when we're going through situational. But to see them play, I think I'm excited to see them play somebody else and just see how good they truly are on the field. It'll be interesting. I'll be adapting and growing with them throughout the season. So it's not necessarily ever stopping our knowledge and learning more and more about each other all year.
You're going to be inducted officially to the school's Hall of Fame later this year. I'm curious, how are you different today than you were when you last were on campus as a senior, as a player? How is the Christine Roser, the player, and Christine Roser, the coach, different or the same?
Oh, I think they both have that insane desire to compete and to be successful and to work hard. And, my character is probably the same. I've just grown up, I'm not 21 years old anymore. Life has happened and, I've dealt with some personal stuff. So I think it's changed me in how I approach my coaching. I've definitely come from a loving perspective instead of a fear perspective as a coach. And, I want what's best for these young ladies. I want them to succeed and go on and be great humans after they graduate, and I joke with them, but I'll be your coach for 4 years, but I want to be a part of your lives forever. I want to be invited to your weddings and to your kids' graduations and all that stuff. So I think player Christine and me now, that would be the biggest difference because I only knew what I knew then as a player, and that was the way that I was coached, and it was not the same. So I think I've definitely evolved and become an excellent coach because of life experiences and amazing mentors that I've had.
Of course, our co-host, our good friend, you know him well, Victor, asked me to ask you this. Otherwise, he would do it right now, but he's at work as we do this interview. But he wanted me to ask you about the conference and how you see the conference now as a coach versus as a player, especially that rivalry with Tampa, because as you've mentioned even earlier, and he brought it up to me, it's funny, you two think alike. That was intense as a player. Now you're going to be a part of it as a coach.
I'm excited. I think as a coach, it's harder because you're like, oh, I can't go out and hit that home run or pitch that pitch, but as a coach, you just hope that you prepare your team well enough to be successful in the field. And again, I've got great leadership on this team. So I think it'll be exciting to watch how they handle and adapt. And the rivalries have been running strong since I was a player. I hear the comments that our girls make about teams in the conference, and it's an amazing conference. It's one of the toughest conferences in the nation. I stand by that. And, we definitely, I think, have the strongest region in the nation as well. So it's definitely something that in order to be the best, you've got to beat the best, as cliche as that is, but it's so true. If we want to become a national contender and compete for a national championship every year, we've got to get through our region to do that. So we've got to make sure that we're coming every day. There are no easy weekends in this conference. That's for sure.
No, and the coach is in the league, Coach Canner. Tampa's never been there forever. Now you get to say you got to face her as a coach after facing her as a player while she's still been the coach there. Erin Kimberger's done a great job at St. Leo. She has a great assistant, a Rollins alum there, and Coach Johnson over there. That I'm sure you all know have crossed paths. You've got, Kelsey Dunn at Embry-Riddle. You got Monica Triner, All-American at USF, that taken out at Florida Southern. It's kind of your thoughts on some of the coaches. Some new faces, obviously, a lot, but turnover, but yet some big-name coaches in the league.
It's awesome. It's really great. You want that for your conference. You want to be competing against the best. And a lot of them that have been there, were there when I played. So it's cool kind of to see them full circle now. And again, I've got relationships with a good majority of them just through coaching. And fun fact, Kelsey Dunn, we used to go head to head all the time in high school, and we could never get out of our region because we always came up against Kelsey Dunn in Spruce Creek and we would never beat her and always would have these long games. I think the shortest game we had with them was 14 innings. I mean, we played a 21 inning game one time. It was insane. So I'm very familiar and, friends with majority of the coaches in the league, and Mo is a great person. I know her, I've known her for a long time through Steph Best, who I used to work for. And, Lynn, I'm familiar with their coach. We've worked camps together. PBA is probably the only one that I'm not familiar with the coach, but again, the program's been strong and, St. Leo strong, Florida Southern, Berry, Eckerd, Florida Tech, Nova, Tampa. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. So like I said, there's really not an easy weekend, and it's nice that we're all super competitive, but also friendly, and we get along outside the lines.
That's right. Val Silvestrini over there at Florida Tech. They've had a good run there, and they're getting upgrades. I think they're getting lights on their home stadium coming out soon there. So you might actually, you don't have to worry about maybe coaching too often earlier in the day, like maybe you had to play back in the day when you would play at Florida Tech there. They've been working on that with the success and the growth of the league. So that's going to be a ton of fun. I'm curious from your standpoint, do you think the league will have a chip on their shoulder? There was no teams ranked in the top 25 in the league, which is weird to say. You're receiving votes, Tampa's receiving votes, but is that something that maybe as a league you use as a chip on the shoulder, or do you guys just kind of ignore polls?
As a league, I'm not sure. I can't speak for everybody else. I know for us, it's nice, right? It's nice to be recognized, but at the end of the day, it means nothing. I mean, same with the preseason conference poll. Like at the end of the day, the last place team could win conference. The last place team not receiving votes could win a national championship. So at the end of the day, it's just opinion, and it's just, on paper. I think for us, we use it as motivation. We use it, to earn the respect of others, and we just let our playing kind of do the talking. So it's not something that we're going to hype up and get crazy about and all this, but we definitely will keep it in mind and, prove them wrong type thing.
Well, you're going to get a chance to prove them. You look at your schedule. You're scheduled to have 4 top 20 teams in the first couple of weeks you're going to play. You're going to host Augustana and Westchester in March. They're both in the top 10. I know some of this you inherited the schedule, but some of this was also you like playing a tough schedule, at least from your past coaching stops, right? Is this part of the philosophy? You might see some marquee scheduling non-conference here to boost your resume as far as moving in the future? Is that part of the strategy there?
Yeah, I remember when I was a player, the big issue that other conferences had, I think, with either our conference or even Rollins was the strength of schedule outside of conference. And that was something that I know the previous coaches worked at, making stronger each year. And when I inherited this schedule, I was like, absolutely, this is awesome. I was like, bring it on, and like I mentioned earlier, to be the best, you got to beat the best. And it's great because I've never played some of these teams. So it'd be great to see kind of what they bring, what style they play with. And no, it's an excellent, exciting schedule. It'll definitely be challenging. It's not going to be easy. And, as long as we stay healthy and we come competitive, I think it'll be exciting for the girls to play. I think we've got 6 top 25 teams in non-conference. So
I wasn't going to remind you, but yeah.
Yeah. It's going to be great. It's going to be a great season of competition and great test for us.
I've asked coaches in all levels about this, taking over a program that you're an alum. And I've had some coaches say one of the challenges coming in there is to make sure you don't put extra pressure on yourself because you're an alum, right? There's that part of you that's like you're an alum, you want what's best for the school. How do you avoid putting that much extra weight on your shoulders that, hey, I'm an alum, I got, I'm here, I know what we got to do? That extra pressure. I've been intrigued in talking to a lot of coaches that coach their alma maters. They says that's one of the challenges at first is they put too much on their shoulder because they feel they put more pressure on them than there really is out there.
Have you been in my brain? Like, have you been in these rooms having conversations with my family? That is the number one thing I've been not even struggling with, but the challenge that I 100%, I know what this program is all about, and I know the level of excellence. And that was, again, why I wanted to take over and why I wanted this job. But with that comes an extreme amount of pressure, and from nobody else but myself, because I don't want to let the girls down. I don't want to let the program down. I don't want to let the alumni down, the school, the administration, so you've got the weight of the world on your shoulders is what it feels like. But I think at the end of the day, you just have to remember, do your best and, let the girls play, let them show you how strong they are, how talented they are, and prepare them the best that you can. And at the end of the day, it is what it is. There's only so much you can control, and I'm not going to let those uncontrollables keep me up at night.
When you get inducted later this year, I would assume your players will be there. I'm curious, what do you want them to take from that experience, to be seeing you get inducted to the Hall of Fame? And what's going to cross your mind when you get, up there and talk and speak there as you get inducted? What's going to cross your mind, and what do you want them to take from that experience?
Oh man, it's emotional for me, I think, because it's so exciting, and it's a huge, huge honor to just be inducted into the Hall of Fame and to have the career that I had. It's funny, like when people talk to me about, they're like, "Do you not realize how big of a deal it was?" I'm like, not really, because it's just what I did. Like I just went and I worked hard, and it's all I knew. I didn't know anything else, and luckily for me, it worked out, and I had an extremely successful career. So no, I just hope they take from that you've got to work extra. You've got to really invest in yourself, and it comes with sacrifices. It comes with a great deal of ownership and accountability, and being responsible for your own career. So and they've done a phenomenal job at that this spring. They've really bought into our culture and what we expect from them. And I hope they're just excited and can hopefully see themselves one day up on stage doing the same thing, because some of these athletes are amazingly talented, and I don't see any reason why they couldn't.
It's going to be a special time there for there. How many players from softball has been inducted? Are you the first?
Oh, I should know that, huh? I
I'll
don't
ask
know.
Victor. I'll ask Victor that. He knows everything there on that.
No, I'm not the first. Nicole Anderson got inducted a couple of years ago. I do
That's
remember
right.
that.
That's right. So you're one of the
Um,
first. You're one of the few, the first handful.
yeah.
Because there's more coming. There's more
Oh,
coming.
there's got to be. Within the 4 years that I played, there's several that will be inducted. They've got to be.
I mean, I think of a Nikki Fogel who I saw in person and led them to the super regionals. That's another one that's going to come to mind. So if they need help on the committee, we got people here.
We got people that know
I
people.
know, I know people. Last couple things. Obviously, you're back in Central Florida. You know the talent area here very well. What? Talk about that and now being able to get some of this talent pool really in your backyard. We see this in Division One with what you've seen that with UCF over the years and what they've been able to get, and other schools coming into this area and getting talent, but also in the Division Two level as well. I mean, it's a competitive battle, but you got a nice lot of talent here. There's you can drive too.
Absolutely. And that's the thing. I mean, Central Florida has always had insane talent. Even when I was in high school, you're just playing against the best. And Florida in general has amazing talent. And I mean, when I was at Mars Hill, when I was at Queens, I would make trips down here continually to get kids from Florida, because I know that the talent is great and they're gonna perform. So I'm super lucky, and I still have a lot of connections in the area, whether it's travel ball, whether it's umpires, whether it's directors of organization, whatever it is. I've had multiple people, hitting coaches, reach out to me and email me or call me about a kid here, a kid there, a kid. Like, it's been overwhelmingly positive and exciting. And I've just loved the feedback and, the fact that people are reaching out because they want to help the program. So it's been extremely exciting.
Well, we're excited to have you back here in town. Since I'm excited since I met you. Ironically, I met you at Stephanie Bess's Hall of Fame ceremony. You were there for the UCF one, which tells me she owes you one. She needs to be at yours too. That's like a home at home
Yeah,
swap. That's a home at
yeah,
home swap there. There,
exactly.
we're putting pressure on her publicly there. There you go, Steph. Sorry, Steph. But hey, thanks so much for taking the time. I know it's a busy time. We're excited to see you back here. We're excited to see your team on the field soon, and we'll be out there. And good luck, and we'll be in touch. But thanks for coming on with us.
No problem. Thank you so much. And we look forward to seeing you.